And we are live. Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, Darnold Jr., your favorite insurance agent. And I'm coming back with you with FinLit Live. So excited to have you on. If you are on live with us, go ahead in the comments, put in hashtag live. If you are catching the replay, go ahead and put in the replay in the comments, hashtag replay. Let's see. Drop in the comment where you're tuning in from. I'm curious who's all tuning in. Are we having different parts of the world? Are we having just the United States? Go ahead and type in the comments where you're located so we can see where you're at and what you're up to. But I'm super excited about today's broadcast because I have a gentleman who's the CEO and the founder of his company. But before I get into introducing him, the purpose of the station is to educate people on financial literacy. FinLit Live stands for financial literacy. And it's one of my pet peeves growing up that school teaches you about social studies and math and science and all these things. But the two big things that school, I feel like, should have taught, but they didn't, are money and marriage. And so we're not going to deal with the marriage part, but we're definitely going to deal with the money part. And it could definitely help your marriage if you have really good finances. So just saying. But the thing is, I went to Baylor University and I had a business degree at Baylor University. And even at a Baylor business degree, I feel like they didn't teach personal finances. So that's what inspired me to start this YouTube station to teach on financial literacy. And obviously, I'm just an expert in insurance. So what I'm doing is I'm interviewing experts from various fields and bringing them on board where you get a chance to ask your questions about anything financial related. We're going to do everything from stocks to real estate to mortgages to credit card, credit scores. I'm going to have them all on this show so you could get your questions answered live on the air. So with that, I'm going to bring up, let's get lit. All right, so for today, I have the CEO and founder of a company called Richway, and he wanted me to introduce him with a YouTube video. So let me go ahead and share my screen here, and it's going to introduce our next guest for today.
Have you ever watched or played sports? What if we remove the coaches from the sideline? There would be loss. Without a coach in our journey through life, we get lost along the way. We lose hope, direction, and motivation. All the greatest athletes, successful entrepreneurs, and experts in their career have coaches who help accelerate their progress. Coaches give us the steps, education, support, accountability we need to succeed. With new technology comes a new wave of ambitious people, but that ambition needs focusing. People need a coach to help them convert their ambition into creation.
Hello, I'm Ricky Bennett here, the CEO and founder of the Richway. There's so many people all across the world who have the talent, passion for their lives, whether it's coaching, whether it's facilitating, whether it's leading, presenting, training, and to be able to create a platform for them to be able to do what they love to do and get paid to do what they love to do is sort of a perfect marriage to me. After the first time I looked at the material, I'm like, wow, like, how did you know that this is what I needed? What we want to do is establish how you're going to use the Richway to help you accomplish your goals either easier, faster, or both.
Just give me that avenue to be able to flourish. I saw it as a way of helping me to invest in myself.
When you think about Richway, soul, you have a spirit, you have a body.
Awesome. That was so motivating in and of itself. I was like, man, I need to go get a coach myself. So I loved my first interview. He was only 25, and he talked about how important mentorship and coaching was. And so I think this is super important to be able to talk to Ricky. And first of all, let me introduce Ricky. This is Ricky Bennett. Say hello to everybody.
Hello. Am I coming through clear?
Loud and clear.
Wow.
How's your
Thank you.
day
Thank
so
you.
far?
Oh, it's been wonderful. Enjoying the holidays over the last 90 days or so, starting a new financial business project that you and I had a chance to connect with has been pretty exciting. And just knowing that this year and the rest of this decade is very promising for those individuals that is getting this information is exciting for me. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
So before we dive into the valuable information for our audience, kind of
Uh,
introduce your background, like where you're from, why did
yeah.
you decide to found this company, and what has the journey been like for you?
Wow. Well, I was originally, I was born and raised in upstate New York. I moved down south, right outside New Orleans when I was a young kid, and man, it was a different environment for me. I was somewhat of an introvert, and I was one of those kids that really into sports, and sports was like my way out, of the neighborhood, the environment, and that landed me to Texas on a basketball scholarship where I was able to went to about three different universities through college, but I finished at Houston Baptist University in Houston. I went on to go play professionally basketball, which is good. I played over in China, and I was pursuing a national an NBA career. And right before it was time for me to hit to sign my first NBA contract, or had the opportunity to do so, I had a career-ending injury. And that's when I went into so-called corporate America. And the thought process my whole life was have a plan A. Was my goal was to play professional sports. My plan B was my education. Yet, whenever it was time for me to go into the job market, the economy was really bad around 2007, 2008, and I really couldn't get a decent job. And that was a big hit for me because you sort of taught, you get an education, you're going to get a good job, and it comes to the territory. And it didn't happen for me. I know it happens for some, but it didn't happen for me. And I really held on to that for a while. For about 18 months, man, I was trying to get a job, trying to work, trying to, find it, an employer to hire me until I just woke up one day and was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a self-made entrepreneur, and I'm gonna be a self-made millionaire. And I just told myself that. And then opportunities start to look different, for me. And I attract a mentor that led me into becoming a self-efficient business person. By the time I was 29, about 18 months later, I was retired from corporate America. I was pursuing my dream. I was building businesses. I started my own medical device company when I was about 33, around 2013. And for 3 years, I ran that company and helped to be a $1 million company as well. And after that, it was more about helping other people. And that's when the personal enrichment coaching program idea came to me around 2017, 2018, after taking about a year off just to spend time with my family. And that's when I started to realize that if people, the biggest key to my success was that I had a mentor. And one of the biggest things that most people are going to realize is that before great success is usually a relationship that happens before that happens. And if you really search for the relationships, you can really create the success, and relationships with people who are doing what you like to do in the industries you want to be in and have the success that you want to have. And that's what the personal enrichment coaching program was all about. It was about bringing two worlds together because I had a lot of friends who was very successful in relationships, finances, physical fitness, business, so many different things. And so I felt like if we had a one-stop shop where people can come in and get affordable coaching and training on their goals, and then also people can get paid to do what they love to do, it's like the perfect world. And but then when COVID hit this beginning of the year, I started to realize something, that a lot of people are not right financially. And even though we coach on finances, I never really had anything myself that I can help people with. You know, my story was always, man, 7 years ago, you had an opportunity to go out and make $1 million or whatever it is, you know, and so I know the principles and philosophies of that, but I never had something I could say, hey, I'm about to do something now. You can come do it with me until right now. And so that's what I'm excited about, that I'm partnering with a company that are helping individuals learn a skill set to grow their money on the regular, whether you got $10, whether you got $1,000, or you got $100,000. And that's a part of the element that's missing in finances. I think we all know we can work for money, whether it's working a business or working a job, working a career. But the true financial freedom is your money growing without you. And I'm excited that we launched a project called Project 50,000, helping 50,000 people across the world learn the skill set to multiply their money. And I'm extremely excited about that, Darnell. So thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, excellent. So Project 50,000. So where do you see this Project 50,000 going in, say, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now?
Yeah, Project 50,000 is a 2 to 5 year project. You know, it's a little bit of a range there, 2 to 5 as well. It has a lot of different, but it's really about just when you think about the world today, 95% of people, if you think about all the money they earned the last 5 or 10 years, almost none of it has been earned off their own money. Yet all the wealth, the people in the world make money off their own money. And you know, up until now, or up until recent time, unless you have a significant amount of money, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars, you're not able to make a living off your money. And because of the climate has changed, because of technology, those opportunities there, if the education is right. So now, I see Project 50,000 really being complete in a 2 to 5 year, 2 to 4, 2 to 5 year span, and really being the beginning of something that can lead to Project 1 million, helping 1 million people learn this skill set. And I think this can change a whole generation if it's done the proper way. So I'm excited about that. And this is becoming a life project for me, definitely.
Excellent. And so what have you seen other people's, obviously, it sounds like you've dabbled in a whole bunch of different things, being from basketball all the way to starting your own career. So as far as the Rich Way project, like, what are some of the testimonies that you've seen out of that project and out of people's lives that's changed?
Wow, it's so much. I mean, number one, most people don't know how to set proper goals, you know, and one of the things that I tell people all the time is a few statements that I would share with people for them to be able to evaluate themselves, you know, and one is that every day you have to visit your future, because every day you visit your present, and whatever you visit will come visit you. And
Wow.
most people just visit what's around them. They look at what's around, that becomes their limitations, when we really have, you know, we taught as a kid to have an imagination, but yet when we become an adult, we forget the imagination, and we hear things like, hey, as you think you become, and if you can think things, but we're not thinking the proper things. And I know we want to, but what the Rich Way was able to do, and even with this project, is that put people in the right environment where the conversation changes. And I always share with people that conversation is destination, association is destination. And this is another statement that I say, you know, to know and not to do is not to know. And I think that that's the thing about us, is that we hold people accountable. You can't say you know and you're not doing it. You can't say you know you should invest, you're not investing. You can't say you know you should be pursuing your passion, you're not doing it, because to know and not to do is not to know. And we take that one statement and we hold people accountable, because most people are moved more by fear of loss and possibility of gain. You know, Darnold, you have ways that you can share with people to create wealth, but they'll spend more time in the fear loss category. Man, I got to keep going. I got to wake up every day and go to this job. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But the reason what motivates them is that they don't want to lose. So they get up because they don't want to lose. That's the mentality of not losing. But whenever they get free time to create wealth, they won't do it. They rather watch TV, because they're not motivated by possibility of gain. They're motivated by just fear of loss. So what we have to do is we have to form accountability groups where we hold you accountable. I'm being held accountable to be on this Zoom call. I mean, it's called today. It's not a Zoom, but I be on this live today, Facebook Live, whatever we're on, the platform we're on. I'm held accountable for that. And because I'm held accountable for that, somebody's going to get this information and somebody's live's going to be changed. If Donald didn't hold me accountable for this particular time right now, maybe I may not make this, and maybe you in the audience may not receive this information. So if we learn how to hold each other accountable and also give recognition where recognition is due, we can combat that mentality of fear of loss And I think that's the biggest key for what we're doing right now with the Rich Way movement.
Yeah, and I know when it comes to word accountability specifically, I don't know about the audience, but for me, my heart kind of skips a beat. It's like people are afraid of accountability. Like, so how do you get past that fear of being held accountable?
Yeah, what we do is you start off with the why you're doing this. Why are you being held accountable? And so many examples I can use. I know we have different type of audience, so I don't want to lose anyone in this, but we all talk about finances. So let's say for an example, someone wanted to say, I want to earn $7,000 a month in my multiple streams of income while I'm working because my job, I'm making $7,000 a month. And I want to match it, right? The first thing we have to do is we have to be able to get that person to say that's what they want. That's their why. And so now we're holding them accountable to do certain things that they say they're going to do. That's going to allow them to be closer to that why. We got to go right back to that. Hey, that freedom. That may be freedom for them. That may be them being able to put their children through school. It may be being able to pay off their mortgage or whatever it may be. We have to continue to bring up the future. And so now people can see the future. It goes back to that whole idea is that we have to visit our future. And so when we get people to visit the future and say, hey, remember, the reason why we're doing this, the reason why we're spending an hour a day getting this information is because we want to be able to get our time back. And so you have to continue to give people a glimpse of their future. That's why it says without vision, you perish because you have no vision of where you're going. And then the energy and the accountability falls off. But when you know where you're going, it's much easier to hold people accountable because they can see the loss if they're not held accountable of the future goals that they could receive.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. It reminds me of a quote from Roy Vaden. A lot of times people talk about they lack self-discipline. I lack self-discipline. But he's like, no, it's not necessarily a lack of self-discipline, but exactly what you're saying. He says it's a lack of vision. It's a lack of vision. Because if your vision is strong enough, like you'll do whatever it takes to accomplish that vision if your vision is strong enough. But if you don't have any vision as far as like what you're saying, if you don't see yourself in the future where you're going to be, then you're not going to do the little things that it takes to achieve that vision. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
And pretty much, I mean, that's it. People hear about it and people so-called know it, but to know and not to do, it's not to know.
Yep. Got application is the key, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how can we apply it as far as what the opportunities that you're offering?
Yeah, well, like I said, I run a personal coaching program. I have a text that a person can text coach to. And I was telling you that 601 area code 601-347-7276. Text and coach is like meaning it's like I want coach. I come from an athletic background. I really believe that most people are not coachable in life, period. I mean, I say most here, almost no one is coachable. And you may say, what do I mean by that? When I say completely, and I have to even work on this as well, is that when you think about coaching, it's used in athletic terms because it involves a coach watching a person play by play and getting instructions. If you think about the greatest athletes in the world, from the Tiger Woods to the Tom Brady's to the LeBron James or the Michael Jordans or whatever you have, they're really good at what they're doing. They're one of the best, but they're constantly getting critique at what they're doing. And most people don't like that. They're used to it. In our school structure, we're not designed to get critiqued on our tests, while we're taking it. You know what I mean? All right, we're designed to not look on nobody else's paper and figure it out. If you can't get 100, then settle for 80, settle for 90, settle for 70, you still pass. You know what I mean? Because you figured out what you can do without help. In the real world, let's say real estate, if we're going to go build a house and, you need the blueprint, you need the cheat sheet. Anyone who has a house, the house you're in right now, imagine a person said, hey, I'm not going to look at the cheat sheet. I'm going to figure this out off memory and I'm going to get this house 80% right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a good deal, And so I think that's the biggest thing is that we're people are wanting to be coached and be coached to a process. And you're not going to get it all right the first time. Things may seem simple, but then you get into it and realize it's a little bit different. But let's get 100 on what we're doing. And if you're getting coached by the proper person that's done it already, you can get coached. So I tell everybody, if anybody will tell anyone, hey, just saying that you want coaching is the biggest thing, because now you open to being coached to a process. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. If you want to get coached, type in the comments, coach, or text the number. Go ahead and say that number again. I'm going to type it in.
Area code 601
601
347
347
7276.
7276.
And just coach, just text coach, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think that what happened to me, I told myself I need a mentor, and I was attracted to a coach. I met him, and he basically came up to me. He was a multimillionaire, but I wanted to be coach. I wanted him to see what I was doing and what my goals were. And I want to be coach. So my personal enrichment coaching program, I happen to just have access to a lot of successful people in certain areas. And so I would coach people or connect people who can get coached by those particular areas. Now I'm more focused on the financial piece because I think that's a big deal to grow people's finances. So that's the biggest thing that my focus is right now. And I think that's what led to this particular, live that's going on now. This interview that's going on now is that it's really financial based. It's a really big. I really believe that this decade is a wealth creation decade. And if you surround yourself around the right people, you're going to be in good shape.
That's right. Cool. Well, we appreciate you for being on. For one last thought, what has been your one biggest life lesson that you feel like you can share with everybody?
Man, one life lesson, man. There's so many of them, but I'm gonna give you one. I'm gonna give you one that can it can help you if you do the other ones wrong.
Okay.
Your environment.
Mm.
You're like a seed. We're like seeds, and our environment dictates so much. You take a certain type of seed. You can take two of the same seed and put one on the concrete for 100 years, and put one in the soil for 100 years. And after 100 years, man, you can have miles of harvest because that one seed produces seed, that produces seed, produces seed, and it looks like day and night. Wow. It wasn't the seed alone. That was a big deal. It was the environment, same sun, same water, but the environment was different. So that's what I call the rich way. That's one of the reasons I think it's one of those environments where you sort of can flourish because you're around other people who are holding you accountable to flourish and people who are winning. So if anything, the environment, make sure you're in an environment where you can look around and see someone that can help you or see someone that has some type of success you want to have. And you can't see that, then you have to change your environment. So that's the one thing I'll give if I had to give one.
You could drop the mic on that one. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on and for taking time out your busy schedule to share some valuable information with the audience. Is there any last thing you'd like to share?
Last thing I want to say to you, man, this is phenomenal what you're doing, the platform you're doing. This is early on and an amazing career you're going to have. I'm blessed and fortunate that I was invited to be on this platform and continue to do what you're doing because you're sowing great seeds into people and just phenomenal, Darnell, man. Great job, man. Great job. Keep doing what you're doing.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you for taking time out and sharing valuable information. And definitely, if you need a coach, go ahead and contact him, reach out to him. And yeah, we appreciate you for being on and enjoy the rest of your holiday.
All right. Happy holidays. Happy and have a great new year, everyone.
Yes. God bless.
Thank you. All right.
All right. So I appreciate you guys for jumping on. I hope you guys got some valuable information. If you got some value out of it, go ahead and put in the comments, #value. Definitely reach out to him if you're interested in getting coaching for yourself. And so once again, I'm Darnold Jr. I appreciate you for being on. We'll have this hopefully in 2 weeks. I'll bring on another guest. I have a couple people in the works, and it's going to be very, very good information, especially kick off the new year correctly with some literacy. And that way we don't repeatedly do the same thing. Everybody knows the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. And the only way to get different results is to know differently and then to do differently, exactly what he was talking about. So once again, appreciate you guys for being on, and let's get lit.